Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 120 Crunch Time with the N326 duo. I'm your host, Sam Gotzi, and with me today, as always, is Tanner Dizzlin. Tanner, how are you doing?
I tell you what, Sam, I'm doing pretty well. You know why? Our Hawkeyes, Iowa Hawkeyes men's basketball, a team that has really struggled throughout the year, coming in with two quad one wins over the past couple days, had zero previously on the season, big wins at home against Wisconsin, who top 25 ranked team, and then going to Michigan State, who's ranked 20th net, getting a win on the road at Michigan State. Two big time wins for a team desperately trying to do anything they can to get into the dance. So I'm doing pretty well on that front, but I will say my Sundays are a lot more wide open now. First Sunday without NFL football definitely felt weird, but we got college basketball to take over our Saturdays for us. So the transition ain't too bad. But that's a long way of saying I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I mean, like you said, it's coming down to the wire in every college basketball conference. We're heading into the conference tournaments within the next couple weeks. So super excited about that. But we got an action-packed episode for y'all. We're going to kick it off as we always do. Tanner, who is your winner of episode 120?
Yeah, man. So we got some news today, actually. We're recording on Tuesday, the 20th. We got some news today about the college football playoff, their expanded playoff. We all know how it's going to 12 teams this past year, and they announced that they're officially adopting. Not only are they adopting a conference championship model where the top seeds will be ranked within the pool of conference champions. But specifically, the big news that they've decided to take five conference champions because it always heavily rumored that they were going to go with six, the Power Five, and then one more group of five, whether that be the American, maybe a MAC team, all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of those teams can slide in there and get into the playoff as a conference champion. But it was announced today that they decided to go with 5+7, which I think is a fantastic decision given the impending doom of the Pac-12. So they're going with five. The top five seeds will all be conference champions, and then we'll have seven at large to round out the 12. I think this was a fantastic decision. First off, I was a big proponent of the auto bids, especially. There was some argument about if they went to an 8-team playoff, I think I would have been anti-auto bids, but they went to 12, getting a few more at-large in there. I'm very pro, and maybe we can even convince something like that will convince teams like Notre Dame and convince BYU, a previously independent team, to go ahead and join a conference. They joined the Big 12, so it'll promote conference joining, which will only make schedules tougher, games better. And more deserving teams will end up there in the end. So I'm a big proponent of this, man. I love how they went down to five with the Pac-12 no longer in commission, and then seven at large is still plenty to get round out the field with some teams who maybe didn't win their conference. So I'm a big proponent of it. I love it. So it's got to be a winner for me, man. It seems like we drastically upgraded the format from last year to this year.
Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade. I'm interested to see how it pans out because it's the seven is still going to be determined by the college football playoff selection committee, so that's definitely going to be an interesting part. But I didn't realize how spread out the schedule is going to be. So the first round is going to be December 20th and 21st. Then the quarterfinals 31st and January 1st. Then semis January 9th and 10th. And then the national championship on January 20th.
Oh, wow. So
is that just me or does that seem super spread out?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a week and a half. So, a normal thing's going to be a week. So they're given a few extra days to rest. I mean, from a spectator standpoint, I'm sure they'll be sprinkled, or I guess, when's the first game again?
December 20th and 21st.
Oh, yeah. So at least
there'll be
they'll be sprinkled with some other bowl games in there. yeah, but towards the end it might get a little dragged on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I mean as you always want teams to be healthy, so giving teams a little extra time to rest up and everything. But yeah, on the surface it does look like it's a little stretched out.
Yeah. It's definitely a step in the right direction for sure. But for my winner, I got a couple here, Tanner. College baseball kicked off last week. And I want to recognize this guy, Parker Byrd of Eastern Carolina. He actually lost his leg in a tragic boating accident in 2022, had 22 surgeries. And this past week, he became the first player to ever play D1 baseball with a prosthetic leg.
An inspiring story of perseverance. Not, I mean, do you know what he did in the at bat?
I don't know.
All right, that's not that matters whatsoever. But
yeah,
Bro got a single with that. I mean, he's the king, right? He's
right.
The king of what team he played for? You said
Eastern Carolina.
East Carolina.
Oh,
seems like he maybe should have not gone to a school with an aquatic theme like pirate.
Yeah, maybe.
Fees. That's all right. Still, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely
crazy. What an incredibly inspiring story. Playing, I mean, it's baseball. You know how much, when you're hitting a baseball, how much power and torque you need to gather from your lower half.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know how you do it. I simply don't.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. Speaking of another awesome moment, I want to shout out a 7th grader from Bishop Ryan Catholic School in North Dakota. There was a viral video that came out of this man hitting 4 straight shots during a halftime show, made a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and half-court shot in just 25 seconds.
I did see that clip.
4 for 4. Absolutely electric to win $10K as a 7th grader. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, there are a few things that are more hype than, it's a big game, stadium's crowded, and then when they bring someone in to do one of the shooting competitions, and they usually culminate in a half-court shot. Sometimes it's just a half-court shot, and he makes it. It's over. It is absolutely over. The place goes crazy. There's a crazy buzz in the arena, and yeah, you're opposing. And keep in mind, the opponent's probably trying to talk some strategy and actually draw up a play or talk about defensive philosophy, and then in the middle of it, the place just erupts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's over if the opposing team fan hits a half-court shot. It's over.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to Parker Byrd, he actually drew a walk to reach base, so that is pretty crazy. So yeah. Now let's flip it on the other side of things, Tanner. Who is your loser of the episode?
Yeah, this was a pretty easy decision, man. You saw some of the comments coming out of New York City. Rick Pitino, head coach of St. John's, had some choice words after they've had a less than stellar start to their season in his tenure with the Red Storm. Here is a string of quotes from Mr. Pitino after a loss. He said, "Look, Joel, who's one of his players, Joel is slow laterally. He's not fast on the court. Chris Ledlum is slow laterally. Sean Conway is slow laterally. Brady's physically weak. Drissa is slow laterally." That's like 6 of his players that he called slow or weak. Next one, "After I spent the summer with them, I knew it was going to be a difficult year. I knew it. I was just hoping we could finish 500 for the season." So he's calling them slow, weak, and bad. Next one, "It's not the job. You could be at Missouri and recruit slow players. Believe me, that's not St. John's. We had to put together a team at the last second. We will never, ever do that again." So they're slow, weak, bad. They're also not the players he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have shitty facilities? Yes, we do, but we're doing something about that. Also going an attack at the university and the stuff at the university. And then lastly, "To be honest with you, I'm just getting ready for Georgetown because Georgetown can definitely beat us." So slow, weak, bad. I didn't want you. I have no faith we're going to win our next game.
Mm-hmm.
We have terrible facilities. This is a textbook on how to not start your tenure at a university. He attacked everybody, players, assistant coaches, athletic directors, everything with the facilities. He went at everybody. Nobody was safe. I mean, this is a now string of Rick Pitino not really being the best guy in the world.
Yeah.
And this is further proof of it. And the tweet that I see, it's a screenshot of the stretch of quotes, and it says, I cannot imagine being a high school basketball player, reading these quotes, and then choosing to play for Rick Pitino over literally any scholarship offer. Because you will be called slow, you will be called bad, you'll be part of a team that he didn't want, and other teams can, quote, definitely beat us. Garbage stuff from Rick Pitino. I hate that man's guts. I don't know how he keeps getting big-time jobs after all this stuff comes out. But you're an absolute loser, man. So you're the loser of the episode. Unreal stuff.
Yeah, and he even mentioned this is the most unenjoyable time of his life.
Yeah, he basically hates his life. He's telling everybody that he works with, everybody that he coaches, everybody that I hate it here.
Yeah, it absolutely crazy. And then you got Dan Hurley. A couple of years ago, 2020, UConn was bad. They were 10-7, 1-3 in the American, and he basically, everyone kind of knew what was going on there. But he said they need to get us now because they won't in the future. And look what's happened with that program. They are struggling to Creighton right now, 43-29 at half, but they have been far and away the best team this year.
Beating number 4 Marquette by 28 points. Yeah, absolutely, completely flipped around the program. It's night and day. One person's got excuses for days, and one person's got championships.
Yeah. Staying on the side of loser head coaches, a reoccurring loser, Rodney Terry. Yes, the Texas Longhorns head coach. After the Houston game a couple days ago. He said, you got to be built for it. If we were going to still stay in this league with these guys, he was talking about Houston, we'd have to build to having that physicality, you know what I mean, and things of that nature. So basically what this man said is, I'm leaving the Big 12 for a softer league being the SEC.
I don't have to worry about Kansas. I don't have to worry about Arizona coming in. I don't have to worry about Oklahoma's having a good year. I don't need to worry about Iowa State. I don't need to worry about even BYU.
Yeah.
No,
Texas
I guess
Tech.
I said Oklahoma.
Texas Tech.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about Texas Tech, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Instead, all I have to worry about is
Kansas State.
Kansas. All I have to worry about is like Kentucky, Tennessee, basically.
Yeah.
Is what he's thinking.
Arkansas, depending on the year.
Depending on the year.
Not this year, but that's a story for another day. Tanner.
Tough. Charmin tough.
We got a new segment.
New segment alert.
New segment alert. And this is called Mad About Iowa.
You know, is this Mad About Iowa episode 2? Because I think I mentioned it a little bit a few episodes ago when we talked about Cheryl Swoops. Everybody's got to be mad about Iowa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody.
Yeah, so this new segment, there's going to be kind of 2 viewpoints. Why everyone is mad about Iowa and why the fans of Iowa are mad about Iowa. So, Tanner, let's start on the everyone side. Talk to me. Why are people mad at Iowa?
Our boy Jay Williams is at it again. He went on College Game Day. They were talking about Caitlin Clark and her setting the all-time scoring record, which I guess we hadn't mentioned to this point.
Yeah, shout out
Caitlin Clark. We all
49 points.
We all knew it was happening.
Slight work.
Dropped 49, including a logo 3, of course, to actually set the record. But she went ahead, set the record. She currently has 3,569 career points. Not bad at all.
Past Kelsey Plum.
Yes. So, that's been the talk of the college basketball
World.
College basketball world. So on college game day, big time game between
Wild.
Auburn and Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky or Tennessee, one of the two.
I think it was Kentucky. So Auburn, Kentucky. They're in Auburn, and Jay Williams goes out and says that first off, he did call her the Steph Curry of women's basketball. A comparison that has never been made before.
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, so he is comparing her obviously to a fantastic basketball player in Steph Curry, great shooter, greatest of all time. I get it. However, he said that he is not sure. He personally cannot call her great because she has yet to win a championship. I would like to start our comments on this by saying I'm going to read out a bunch of names, Sam. What do these people all have in common? You ready?
Yep, let's hear it.
Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Dan Marino, Ernie Banks, Chris Paul, just to name a few. Hold on, it was over multiple tweets, so I got to get the. There it is. Okay. Ken Griffey Jr., Tony Gonzalez, Randy Moss, Barry Sanders, the 73-9 Warriors, the 17-1 Patriots. What do all of those names and teams have in common?
They're obviously not great because they didn't win a ring.
They did not win a ring. Also, just so happens that all the players are either still playing or in the Hall of Fame.
Not great.
Not great.
Not great.
Oh, and Caitlin Clark plays college basketball, where 68 teams, which is more than double any professional sports league has in the entirety of their league. 68 teams get a chance to play for a title. More than double than any other sports league, let alone how many make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then that is further doubled for how many college teams there are. So it is insanely harder to win a championship in college than it is in the pros. Using national championships as a measure for how great someone is in college is beyond idiotic. Beyond idiotic. And everything we just talked about was professionally, all of those people professionally didn't win a ring. How many of them did in college? Way more than that didn't win in college because it is almost impossible to do so in 4 years' time.
Yeah. Wild.
That is just unbelievable how that is even being talked about. And then he tries to justify it by claiming that I'm just cut from a different cloth. It's the Kobe
mentality.
Shut up. The Kobe in you? Get the hell out of here. You were a college basketball player who went to one of the greatest college basketball programs. Put him at Iowa, bro's not scoring 10 points. Bro's team is not making the dance.
Yeah.
Let alone leading them to a national championship. That's the Kobe in me. Get the hell out of here, you absolute bum.
Yeah. It was a wild statement. To use, I don't even know why he brought up the Kobe mentality, to be honest. Like, it was just kind of out there. I still don't really know why he said that.
Yeah,
it's just like, I'm tough like Kobe.
Yeah, it's
bro. Kobe was by far the biggest proponent, biggest supporter of women's basketball. You telling me he wouldn't be raving about Caitlin Clark? And just let's break down that she is not great. She is literally the face of an entire sport. We haven't seen a athlete be the face of a sport since LeBron. Let's just put it how it is. Um, she's making women's basketball relevant. Like, is being talked about every sports center newscast. I mean, I was watching a college basketball game a couple nights ago. They mentioned Caitlin Clark breaking this all-time scoring. And then after that, she becomes the Fanatics, one of the biggest sports good or sports memorabilia. She becomes their top selling NIL person. Oh, and speaking of LeBron shouting her out in the press conference after the All-Star game. I just want, just because she doesn't have a ring in a sport where there is 68 teams, makes absolutely no sense to me, Tanner. And
but to be fair, we're just not Kobe.
We're not Kobe.
Yeah, it's not the Kobe cast. Like, get the hell out of here.
Wild.
Yeah, I'm just so tired of people just taking shots at, without a doubt, the greatest to ever do it in the women's game, because God knows why. Like, just because someone's great, and I feel like they have to tear him down, right?
Yeah,
it's really, really frustrating.
Hey, she might be the greatest college basketball player ever. Period. Regardless,
and also to add the cherry on top, dear Mr. Jay Williams, Caitlin Clark very easily could have gone to UConn, have 3 championships by now. She very easily could have gone to LSU and won every game by 50 plus last year. But she didn't. She stayed at home and led the University of Iowa to a national championship game in which they beat South Carolina, undefeated South Carolina, on their way there.
Who at the time had the number 1 WNBA pick?
Who had Boston. The number 1 WNBA? Like,
it's funny. It's so funny.
It's getting ridiculous, and I'm getting tired of coming on here and complaining about other people tearing down Caitlin Clark. But you have to, when people will just do whatever they can to take someone who is accomplishing something nobody has ever done before, and the first thing out of their mouth is, well, she's not this. Well, she didn't do this, but this. F that. She's the greatest to ever do it, no matter what you say, and she is showing you why.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Jay Williams, you're a psycho. Now, Tanner, let's look on the other side of things. Our Iowa fans hate or mad about Iowa.
Well, another Ferentz might be on the horizon. Yeah, so Kirk Ferentz's other son, his name
James Ferentz.
James. He was with the Patriots for a while. He actually just retired today. On Tuesday, retired from the NFL. So, I mean, he's been retired for about 8 hours or so, and he has not quite yet been hired by the University of Iowa. However, I would say give it within the next 12 hours.
By the time this episode airs, he'll probably be on this staff. Let's be honest. We're recording on Tuesday night. I like our chances.
And so, yeah, everybody's got to be mad about Iowa, as we said. And fans have to be mad because we're just going to have another nepotism hire, another son, another family member take over and coach. And I don't see a way in which this ends well. So, yeah, Iowa fans also have to be mad about Iowa.
Yeah. Absolutely. James Ferentz, future O-line, coach, specialist, whatever, for Iowa football, for sure.
Gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Tim Lester, get him on the staff.
Oh, good Lord. That's, no. But, any more reasons you can think why Iowa fans would be mad at Iowa?
No, man, not after, I mean, obviously the women's team is great, and the fanfare we had in Carver Hawkeye after Caitlin dropped 49. Iowa obliterated Michigan,
Yeah.
and I think they're number 4, currently up to number 4 in the nation. Big one though on Thursday. Travel to Bloomington, take on
Yeah, that's gonna be a big one.
14, I want to say, Indiana.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then the men coming off the 2 big wins, like I said. So I think that's it for now.
Yeah. I'm sure once Caitlin drops like 60 later this week, there'll be fans mad saying she cherry picked or something.
Yeah.
But we talked about how everyone is mad about Iowa. Let's talk about how everybody is mad at the NBA. Last weekend was the All-Star weekend, if that's what you want to call it. We'll we'll kick it off with the just get actually let's just give me your overall thoughts on the entire weekend.
Oh boy. Now I recognize that I am no longer 12 years old. That seeing NBA players do alley oops and shoot half court shots and play a game in which the winning team scores over 200 points. Uh, it's just not really fun for me anymore. Which again, I recognize that, but I also think, and I don't think I'm alone by saying, I mean, the quality of the whole weekend has just completely plummeted.
It's gone to crap.
That, along with, again, my personal enjoyment, I don't really care if Damian Lillard shoots a half-court shot. When I was 12, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Like, I don't really care if Giannis does a between-the-legs dunk. When I was 12, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Like, I just don't care about that stuff anymore. And I'd love to get the perspective of like a young basketball fan of seeing their favorite players do all this crazy stuff is still like really fun for them. Because I can tell you what, it's not for me. I mean, the only thing worth a damn, I think, in the entire weekend is the 3-point contest because like it's never changed. Like
Yeah.
there's no give or take with it. It's just you're a damn good shooter, shoot the damn ball and see how many you make, and we'll get other damn good shooters to do the same. And I love watching the 3-point contest. But things with any sort of imagination, like the dunk contest, my goodness, the All-Star game, it's just turned into a joke, and
Yeah.
that's fine. Like it's okay. It's just not that enjoyable. Like I don't. So I was not very impressed with the weekend. And coming off the Super Bowl, and then it was like, oh, and then we have All-Star weekend. This should be fun, right? It just really wasn't.
Yeah. It's been kind of disappointing. NBA. We obviously going to talk about this All-Star weekend a little more in depth, but even the trade deadline, there's no major blockbuster trades. You got your boy Alec Burks back, so
Burks is back,
and we called the Thunder getting some veteran presence at the small forward. So 2 for 2.
I said Alex Caruso. They got Gordon Hayward. I feel like there are worse.
Yeah, there's worse. There's worse for sure.
Comparisons between players than those two.
Yeah, so let's. I just want to give the people a rundown of how truly bad this All-Star weekend was. We had the skills challenge. We had the Pacers, the number 1 picks, which was Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Edwards, and Paolo Banchero. All-Stars, Sky Barnes, Tyrese, and Trae Young. And then we had Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, Miles Turner. The Indiana players won. Scotty Barnes was probably the most pathetic All-Star I've ever seen.
I mean, we started off hot in the skills competition and just losing the ball.
Losing the ball.
Lose it out of bounds. Shooting backwards.
Backwards.
The skills competition was to make a half-court shot. He shot a few back, or one, at least one backwards.
Did you see Anthony Edwards? He put up. He was shooting left-handed.
I did see that. Yeah. Yep. He shot one left-handed.
So,
it's little stuff like that, right? Because like obviously, I'm not gonna come up here and just get super. Oh, he shot it left-handed. But like when you see this, I understand it's supposed to be fun, but it's supposed to be fun in which players are trying to win. Like,
Yeah.
they clearly have no interest in what's going
No.
on. So if they don't, why should I?
Yeah, exactly. And then we had the 3-point contest, the best event.
Easily. I think it's pretty easily the best.
I do think one rivals it for this year for sure. But our 8 participants in the 3-point contest were Malik Beasley of the Bucks, Jalen Brunson for Knicks, Tyrese Halliburton for Pacers, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Donovan Mitchell, Cat, and Trae Young. Lillard came on top back to back with 26 points. So again, nothing crazy there, but good event. This was probably my favorite event. Steph versus Sabrina.
I see. Okay, I was looping it all as one as a 3-point contest.
Got you.
But yes,
Okay.
this specific
one was
Steph versus Sabrina was by far the best thing.
This one was awesome. Finally got a battle between the WNBA best shooter and the NBA
knockdown shooting.
Knockdown. It was really close. They both shot from the NBA 3-point line, and Ionescu shot WNBA balls, and Curry shot NBA balls. So it's not like
Fair to
there's
their
much
sport.
different. Curry only won 29-26. Oh, Sabrina scored 26.
Yeah, remind me what they
Remind me what 26.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh my God. And this is where I want to bring up our favorites. Kenny Smith. What the hell?
We've talked about it. We've talked about it for a while. The worst part about the NBA, I think there are 2 bad things about the NBA, because frankly, I'm an enjoyer of basketball. I like to watch players play basketball. 2 things I don't like. One, NBA egos, the demanding of trades. Player empowerment in general is a good thing.
Yeah.
But someone like James Harden demanding 3 trades in 4 years, unreal stuff.
Yeah.
So that is really annoying to me. And the second one, by far, I think far and away the worst part about the league is the media around the league. The coverage of the league is awful. It's terrible. It is. I can't even stress it enough how much it just really annoys me. And that culminates in the All-Star. There's no brighter lights, no all the stars, all that stuff. And the NBA on TNT crew.
Yeah.
People who enjoy that crew, I swear, hate basketball. They hate everybody who talks about the game and breaks down the game at a high level. They hate them all. They just want to hear people talk gibberish about not knowing where people play, not knowing who players are. Like, this is the league you cover, and you can't name what team. Like, unbelievable how these guys have a platform, and let alone people enjoy them. They're garbage, absolute garbage. But of course, they had to just spew about nonsense constantly all weekend, and this, I think, was the worst example.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to push back on all media for NBA. I think there are 2 exceptions, and 2 exceptions only.
JJ Redick. Ernie Johnson?
And Ernie Johnson. Okay, glad we are on the same page. But yeah, it's so bad. We had the Kenny Smith just shit-talking Sabrina when she would have tied the winner of the NBA 3-point contest. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yes. What was his quote? I think he had said that, oh man, Sabrina should have shot from the WNBA line. Yeah, like she didn't again tie the winner of the damn event.
Yeah.
But also, I would like to draw attention to the fact that when in doing this, she did not say, "I will beat Steph Curry." She did not say that, "I know I'm going to beat him. I need to do this because I'm going to beat him." She said, "I can hang with him." And you can say with 100% certainty, she can hang with him.
Yeah.
She lost by 3 to the greatest shooter of all time. The best shooter of all time. She lost by 3. Would have won the damn event if she was actually in it. Just unreal circumstance for him to just go be like, oh, she should have done this, she should have done that. No,
Yeah.
she shouldn't have done anything. She was a dead-eye shooter. She would have won the damn thing. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I mean, talk about a great moment to promote the game
And
of
he's spewing all
WNBA.
That is BS, dude.
And he did make a comment. Much ado about nothing, honestly. Most people who know basketball understood. I was advocating for her more than anything else.
No, you weren't, bro.
My track record speaks for itself. Okay. Okay. So while we're on the, actually, we'll wait. We'll wait for the rest of the amazing NBA on TNT crew because Chuck had a interesting comment during the All-Star game, but we'll wait on that because we have to talk about the electric, the best part, the headliner of All-Star Weekend, the dunk contest. The NBA question mark dunk contest because we had Mac McClung of the Magic's G League team, Jaime Jaquez,
Jaime Jaquez.
thank you, for the Miami Heat, and the All-Star himself, Jaylen Brown, and Jacob Toppin of the New York Knicks / Westchester Knicks. Tanner, the absolute worst dunk contest ever.
Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, the dunks were bad. The show was bad. The judges were. There was one
god
judge.
awful.
There was one judge that
god awful.
He was straight up hating.
We both agree Mac McClung's first dunk was the best dunk.
It was the best of the night by far, and one person gave it a 46. That's straight up hating. That is hating to the highest degree.
You got respect. You got to be cap at that point.
Cap at that. But yeah, I mean, it's the dunk's terrible. The people who advanced to the next round, I mean, McClung probably deserved to see the best one
for sure
dunk of the entire night, but Jaylen Brown, simply put, did not deserve it. You had two people basically do the same thing and dunk over Shaq, and then he was like, you know what, I'm gonna bring out a 5'4" YouTuber, and I'm gonna have him sit down.
Yep.
And then I'm going to jump over him. And then after I dunk, and I'm clearly done with my dunk, I'm going to cover my eye like a dab almost. And it's like, I wonder if they think I did that while I was dunking. What the heck? It was just awful, man. And there was no buzz in the building. People were booing Jaylen Brown.
Electric. Shout out Indy for that. Shout out Indy. That was electric.
That was awesome because they like.
That was the best part. Let's be honest.
And I think there are multiple things at play. I mean, I think the players themselves, it's clear they don't care. They don't spend much time coming up with dunks. There's no creativity, like bringing out the cupcake. People who would bring out the higher rims, they'd slap on the backboard.
Yeah.
There's like one of my favorite dunks of all time was when Dwight Howard, like he bounced it and then he like tapped it off the backboard from one side to the other side. JaVale McGee did 3 balls. Like it was all so creative. And then they just like, people just stop.
Even the theatrics were like
jerseys, capes, cars.
Yeah.
Like the theatrics are gone. People just don't care enough to plan it.
Yeah.
And again, it goes to the if they don't care, why should I?
Yeah.
And now we're spiraling downward because there's no winning. Like, how long have we been doing the dunk contest? Like, I understand. I was just saying there's no creativity anymore, but like every dunk's been done. Like what other dunk can someone think of that hasn't been done? So, and when the public reception is what it is, and most dunks have been done, like what star would do that? Like, you know what I mean? You have a brand to uphold, and then you want to put together like a bad dunk contest showing. Like, you don't want to jeopardize any of that. So like, I get why stars don't do it because it's a 0-win situation. But yeah, it's cooked. It is just so cooked.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think Levine and Aaron Gordon kind of set the bar way too high.
It is the single best dunk I've ever seen in a dunk contest when Aaron Gordon jumped over the Magic mascot, went under the legs. It's an absolute travesty that Zach LaVine won that. He shouldn't have even sniffed the shoes of Aaron Gordon, but of course
Yeah.
we all know that. But
Yep.
yeah, and then once Aaron Gordon was out, other people started not caring and not doing it's cooked. It's just absolutely cooked. It was just awful. The and then the All-Star game itself.
Yeah, I do want to point out a couple things. The G League has a dunk contest.
Yeah.
And
the NBA dunk contest.
If you haven't seen this Tavion Kinsey 360 fake East Bay from the G League dunk contest is watch this.
Let's see. Yeah, dude, that's 20 times better than anyone's ever.
I know. If you haven't looked it up, look it up. It's incredible. But I will say, Stephen A. Smith had a idea I actually don't hate.
All right, let's hear it.
He said there should be a national dunk contest, go city to city, state to state, nationwide, and get the best dunkers and have them compete in a top 10, top 5, and get like
NBA out of it.
Get like the NBA out, make them like give a first prize winner.
Oh,
like a dollar amount.
Judge.
Yeah.
Ooh, and like you telling me that like you're totally right. I mean, people obviously would be much more willing to do it if they're trying to make a name for themselves, or maybe bring viewers to their YouTube channel or whatever sort of dunk factory they got going on. But also get a chance to catch a lob from like Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Or like LeBron gets to bounce it for you. That's a
creative.
That is a damn good idea. And like you have all the NBA players courtside, and you're watching these basically randos going out and dunking and incorporating NBA players to pass or throw. All that jump over, all that stuff. Like, that's a damn good idea. I like that a lot. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. And like you said, Dan, let's talk about this absolutely abysmal game. The East they won with like 211 points. What? So we can talk about the game. It's pathetic. It's worse than a men's rec league team. Literally zero defense. What? Can you fix it?
I'm not sure you can, man. Like it's the league is just so heavy on media that players' highlights are played all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
People have instant access via social media, via apps, anything you can imagine. So like they don't need, like, you remember in some of those you'll see clips where like Kobe and MJ are like slapping the floor to like, I got to prove that I can lock up MJ in the All-Star game. There's one Shaq and Tim Duncan, I want to say, doing something similar in the post. Like, they just don't need to do that anymore because everyone constantly sees all of their dunks, steals, threes, whatever you can imagine. No one cares. They all get paid so much money that it just means nothing. That doesn't matter if you play in Milwaukee. You're always going to have the lights. You're going to have the red carpet. You're going to have all this. Like this doesn't mean anything to them.
Yeah.
So it's just the allure for the players has fallen. They don't care anymore, and it shows, man. They just go out and play an exhibition game, if you can even call it that, where they just F around on the court, and it's just terrible to watch. It's not fun at all. There's scoring records year after year. I don't think anything should be attached to it. I've seen thrown out.
I was just about to ask you.
I personally don't like that.
I don't either.
Baseball did it for the longest time. I think All-Star games should be kept separate. But I don't really know how you fix it. It's just no one cares, and it's just the era we're in, the stars, the money, the fame, all of that stuff. It's just there's just no going back, I don't think.
I will say a couple years ago in like honoring Kobe with the Elam ending, I like that because you got the theatrics, the half court shots, the all
The fourth quarter was
fourth quarter was lockdown.
Yeah, I think getting rid of the target score probably was a mistake. In a game like this, you certainly want the last plays to be active and not
Yeah.
running out clock and foul. I mean, not that anyone cared enough to foul.
Yeah.
But I do think it was a mistake. But I just wonder if the only reason like people cared was because of the Kobe thing.
Yeah.
Like where yeah, and then but I definitely agree that the getting rid of the ending I think was a mistake, but I think it only would have helped so much.
Yeah. One thing that was kind of swept under the rug that I think might be a good idea, um, for uh the All-Star game is instead of the rookie versus sophomore game, they had a Rising Stars tournament and they played to like 35. Why not split up the All-Star teams? Do a draft, and I don't know how you make it where they give a crap, but like there's gotta be a way.
That's what
like money,
NHL,
whether it's charity,
divisions, and they do like little 3-on-3 games. You telling me like a little 3-on-3?
I think you have a I think you have a better chance of them trying in a half court game to 21 than you do 12-minute quarter full game.
And what if you like do something to make it fun? Like we used to play when you were younger. They were told, oh, the importance of passing. You play 3-on-3 in the half court, no dribbles.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Like just something different as to a
they need to make changes.
Game. They absolutely need to make changes. 3-on-3 in the half court, no dribbles.
King of court. I think that'd be cool.
King of the court, absolutely.
Like do a East versus West bracket, and then I don't know. Adam Silver, come on. He was talk about Adam Silver. He was pissed after the game. He's like, "Well, the East won, scoring 211 points. He did not want to be there. It was just terrible.
Biggest opportunity to market your stars, and that's what they came out with.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. Very disappointing because the All-Star game used to be like the thing in the NBA season, and it just has
pretty fun. The dunk contest used to be really fun.
I mean, the Andre Drummond was in the first round of that Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine. He would have won.
Yeah, he would have won like the last 4 years.
I know. It's just stupid. But the NBA is still going on. There's like 30 games left. I don't know about you, Tanner, but my team, the Thunder, are like the best. I think they're the best team in the West right now. If not one, they're two.
I think it might be Minnesota.
I think.
The coach was.
It's either I think they're top three. I think it's Minnesota, Clippers, Thunder. I could be wrong, considering I haven't watched a single minute of the NBA this season.
Let's see. Oklahoma City second. They are 1.5 games behind Minnesota.
Okay. So yeah, that's going on. Your Knicks are playing. Yeah, struggling with some injuries this season. Julius Randle obviously being the big one.
Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby all out right now, which is a little tough. But yeah, New York is still we're still sitting in the 4. Obviously no hot take there, but I would love to get to the 3 because then you're playing like a Indiana.
Yeah.
When you make it that way, but still 4th, getting healthier, and then as you mentioned, got a little better at the deadline. I think added some depth scoring.
Yeah.
And shooting. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Adding some shooting in Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the much better basketball product. Let's talk about some college basketball. So, me and Taylor were discussing how do we cover college basketball. It's really hard when you only have one episode a week. So we're gonna try our best we're gonna highlight the big games, kind of the games to look out for in the future. So I'm just gonna highlight some. Iowa upsetting Wisconsin 88-86. UConn obliterating Marquette 81-53. Ohio State upsetting Purdue. Is that really an upset anymore? 73-69. And then last night we saw Houston beat Iowa State 73-65. Tanner, these were kind of the headliner games, obviously a little different with Iowa being Iowa fans, but give me what was your biggest takeaway from like the past week in college basketball?
Yeah, so there are definitely a few I want to talk about. I do want to talk about this Iowa-Wisconsin game, but I'm not going to talk about Iowa. I want to talk about Wisconsin for a second because this team is sliding hard right now. They were up, they were top 10 in the nation at one point this year. But recently, man, a tough stretch. So since beating Michigan State at the end of January, they went on and they lost one, two, three, four straight, and then they beat Ohio State, who then in turn fired Chris Holtman, and then lost to Iowa. So 5 of their last 6 they were losers of. And in that included a big time second half choke against Nebraska. They lost to Purdue. That's okay. They lost to Michigan, the worst team in the Big Ten right now. They lost to Rutgers by 22. I mean that was at the rack, but still 22-point loss to Rutgers and then 2-point loss to Iowa. So Wisconsin, they need to figure it out because this is going to turn quick into conference championship, conference tournaments, and then of course the big dance. So a team, I mean, they're not on the bubble, they're in, but they're sliding, and they need to figure it out. So Wisconsin is a team to look to turn it around. And UConn, I mean, what else is there to say? They are struggling right now. They're down 17 to Creighton as we speak.
At Creighton, though, that's a tough place to bow
Creighton,
for anyone.
They ran into some foul trouble. I mean, not excusing it. They're kind of getting run off the floor.
Their big man got in foul trouble first half early.
Got in trouble early. But, yes, like again, it's not excusing it because they are getting run off the floor. But this team's 24-2. And there could be a little bit of a hangover effect because they came off of, as you said, playing number 4 Marquette and just pounding them into the earth's crust. So UConn just as good as ever. It feels weird to say this as they're losing, but we know how college basketball is. On the road, conference games, quality team, stuff like this happens all the time. And then, Purdue losing. Okay. Like, their play style, man. It's just, I just don't see it happening. The team struggles to score when they don't get it to their abnormally large human being. The guard play is, I mean, the guards aren't bad, but the guard play is like a mediocre to above average, and that's not a team that can win a championship, right? Like Fletcher Lawyer, okay, he can shoot the ball a little bit. Some of these other guys can play, but obviously that team goes as far as Zach Edey goes, and with refs being different from Big Ten game to Big Ten game than to the tournament, I'm going to need to see a big upgrade in guard play from Purdue. Otherwise, they're going to end up where they always do, getting upset in the first couple of rounds. And then Houston, Iowa State, what a great basketball game that was, man.
Absolutely.
From tip to the end, great basketball game. Iowa State, they're obviously a really good basketball team. I'm a little worried about their offense at times. They go through struggles, but in this game specifically, in the second half, they were 7 for 9 from deep in the second half. Their offense was humming, still couldn't get it done. Their defense lapsed as Houston kind of turned on the scoring. So putting together a full half, because Iowa State's defense was great in the first, they couldn't really score. They scored in the second, defense couldn't get a stop.
Yeah.
So Iowa State putting together a full half, big for the Cyclones, but I do worry about that offense. As we head into March. So that was a big dump, as everything I felt about some of those big games. But that's what I'm thinking around the college basketball world right now in the big games from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is kind of in a more broad sense talking about that Iowa State Houston game last night. The Big 12 has 7 ranked teams right now.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet.
It's an absolute gauntlet. I'm looking at these standings right now. So I'm just gonna read you these home records because these are insane. So Houston 15-0, Iowa State 15-0, Baylor 13-1, Kansas 13-0, TCU 11-2, Texas Tech 13-1, BYU 13-2, Texas 12-4, Oklahoma 13-3, Cincinnati 12-4, Kansas State 12-3, UCF 10-5, West Virginia 9-7, Oklahoma State 10-5. It's a gauntlet.
Teams in the Big 12 don't lose at home.
No.
It's been what's the longest saying in college basketball, college sports, but specifically college basketball, that any road conference win is a damn good win. That goes like triple in the Big 12. Like,
Yeah.
teams just don't lose at home. And yeah, and all those ranked teams. I mean, every night after night. It reminds me of, remember when the SEC was like this a few years ago?
Yeah.
When obviously Tennessee and Kentucky were the cream of the crop.
Mhm.
Arkansas was really good. You had like a Mississippi State was ranked for a while there.
Auburn.
Yeah. Like, top to bottom, deepest conference, best conference, for sure. But yeah, every night there's a ranked matchup.
Oh, and they're getting Arizona next year, who is currently ranked fourth in the nation.
Yeah.
It's stupid how good that conference is. They're gonna probably have double-digit bids in the tournament. It'll be interesting to see how the Big 12 pans out in their season tournament and what'll happen with all these teams in the Big Dance, because you've gone through 29-ish games of pure hell.
Right.
Will that catch up to you?
Does iron sharpen iron, or does is it just too much? Are you fatigued? Are you it is interesting to see how that works, because obviously we have these conversations about the SEC, as I mentioned, the Big Ten that one year when Iowa was really good, Illinois was really good, like all the
Indiana,
like they were the conference. Ohio State, I think they had a win, or no, the Illinois won it that year, but Ohio State, I think they beat Ohio State in the championship game, actually. Obviously Purdue's always going to be there, but like the Big Ten doesn't have the greatest track record in the conference.
Yeah.
So that was an example of like they just kind of cannibalized each other. No one got a good seed, and that was the year Ohio State lost to Oral Roberts.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be even more great games. If you're tired of the NBA, please check out college basketball.
Some of the best stuff on
There's nothing better. We got a couple more games later this week. We got Houston taking on Baylor. Houston obviously coming off that big win at Iowa State, and Baylor's playing BYU tough right now. Then we got UNC Virginia. Virginia is the typical Virginia. Not a whole lot of scoring. I think they've scored like 80 points in the past 2 games, if that. They won like 48-45 against Wake Forest. And then Alabama and Kentucky later this week. College basketball's fast.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that Houston Baylor game, I caution the viewers, get ready for a terrible camera angle. You're gonna need your binoculars to watch it, but the game will be a great basketball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
In Waco, it'll be a great atmosphere. Virginia, I mean, if there's a panic button in front of me, I am slapping that thing so damn quick if I'm a Virginia fan. You mentioned the lack of scoring, 41 and 49. So 90 points in their last 2 combined. But also in those 2 games, you said Wake Forest, they were at home for that game.
Yeah, that was
scored
tough.
49. They did win, but 2-point win at home, scored 49. They went 1 for 11 from the free throw line in that game. And then they go to their in-state rival and get run off the floor by 34. They lost to Virginia Tech. Yeah, Virginia, that panic button is getting absolutely hammered. And then before that, they also lost to Pittsburgh at home. So, yeah. not looking
Forest
great for
is
Virginia.
beating by
They've fallen
22.
out of the top 25 now with the new rankings that came out. I mean, I don't think they're in the bubble. I think they're in, but like, yeah, it's got to figure. It's not. It's more so than Wisconsin. It's you need to figure this out right now for Virginia, and then also to wrap it up. I mean, Alabama, Kentucky, like that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
I believe in
the
Lexington.
two top dogs in or minus Tennessee.
Yeah, I feel like Alabama's not getting enough love. They
No.
are red hot right now. They are. I mean, I think Tennessee's clearly the cream of the crop in the SEC. Sure. But Alabama might be the second best team with Auburn looking shaky, as of late. So big test for Alabama there going to Lexington. But yeah, I'm really excited for all these games. Maybe not so much UNC Virginia because I do not like watching Virginia.
No, it's the worst.
But
it's the worst.
But you gotta respect Tony Bennett, man. He can do the damn thing, and they won a national championship. So who am I to criticize? But yeah, this Houston, Baylor, Alabama, Kentucky. In the words of our dearest darling Jake Marsh, Kettle corn.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's going to wrap it up for episode 120 with the ending of football season. We talked about a lot. We talked about college football with their playoff expansion, some baseball, some terrible coaches. We talked about how everyone's mad at Iowa all the time. The abysmal All-Star weekend, and of course wrapped up with NCAA basketball. But the clock has run out on this one, but we'll see you on the next one on Crunch Time.